Welcome to the Unexceptional Moms podcast. This is episode 28, and it's our last episode of the season. We are entering summer, and we're here to talk about surviving summer. I'm Erin Lorraine.
And I am Ellen Stumbo, and our freebie today is a list of camps for your kids or for your family. So if you go to ellenstumbo.com/episode 28, and that's the number 28, scroll down to the orange button where it's going to say, yes, send me the list of camps, and you're going to get a list of camps. There's camps from every state in the U.S. It is not a comprehensive list. It's as many as I could find, but I am sure that there will be more. So as I update it, I will hopefully be able to send those updates to everybody. So that's the freebie.
Perfect.
And so the main three things we're going to talk about today is really things that you can do during the summer to survive it. And we're going to talk about having a routine, and we're going to talk about self-care.
Okay, so things you can do. And I said to Ellen, what exactly are we going to talk about? Because in my head, I was thinking, play with Play-Doh and make, goop and all those kind of things. But no, tell me what some of your thoughts were.
So these are things that we have gathered from other parents who have kids with disabilities and things that have worked for them. And something that a couple of people talked about is that what they like to do is at the beginning of the summer, they sit down with their family and they make a list of all the things that they would like to do, places they would like to go that are doable, and they write them down. And then once they have this list, they kind of enter it into their calendar so that every week they have something to look forward to. Every week they have something to do. So the things that they do towards behavior and maybe discipline, that week they're usually related to what it is. So let's say they're going to go to the zoo, and the big plan is to go to the zoo. If you are having trouble with your kids cooperating, or they're not listening to go to bed, you can say, now remember, we're going to the zoo. If you don't listen and obey, we can't go. So for some kids that really works well. And again, it's something to look forward to, which sometimes you need something to look forward to.
Definitely. The other thing I like about that is, like for me, I've got a lot of ideas in my head, but I don't know that they'll necessarily happen because other things will come and take their place, and we'll get busy, or I'll be tired and won't feel like it or whatever. And if it's on the calendar, you've got that time set aside. Your kids know it's coming, and it forces you to go do some fun stuff.
Yep. It's the reality of actually have a set plan as opposed to just winging it.
Yeah. I'm in wing it mode right now. It's not working great. I'm going to tell you.
Yes. And we're moving. So everything we're doing goes
You're
towards
really in wing it mode.
Yes, definitely. Another thing that one of her friends mentioned is that every morning when the kids wake up, they have like a family meeting, and the first thing they do is that they go through chores. So every kid has some chores, and some of them are fun chores and some of them are not. So they kind of talk about what the chores would look like, who's going to do them, and then the kids go and do it. And then maybe they come back and maybe it's time for a snack. And maybe there's a little bit of playtime, and then by then it's lunchtime. And then after that, maybe there's rest time. And then after that, again, there's like going outside in the yard. They have a pool, so it could be swimming time and doing that kind of stuff. By the time they come back, it's probably dinner time at night, just their typical bedtime routine.
Right.
So that works. And actually, she said the kids love having chores. She has older kids with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
She has 6 or 7 kids with disabilities. I can't remember.
They
all have Down syndrome, but they're older. So she can give them that responsibility of having chores, and they actually really enjoy it. They like having a job. So if they're responsible for vacuuming or sweeping or helping sort laundry, whatever it is, they really actually take a lot of pride in having chores. So for those who have older kids, that also helps. Summer school.
Hot topic in my house.
Are you sending your kids to summer school this year?
No, I'm not. And this is the first year I'm not. Mm-hmm. It just did not work for my kids.
Okay. Yeah. But for some families, summer school is great because it keeps the consistency of school.
Yes.
It's usually not a full day though. So it helps with that routine so it doesn't change as much. So summer school, and a lot of schools do fun stuff during summer school.
Yeah, I'm really sad that we had to turn it down, but it was more trouble than it was worth for my girls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one in particular. And then the other one, I was just like, I'm not going to get up and drive one there if I'm not going to drive them both there. So, yeah,
But summer school is an option,
yes,
and you have enjoyed it in the past, and so have we.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, there's camps, which is why we're putting together the
Hmm.
list for a freebie. We are about to go on the Johnny and Friends camp in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's exciting. And that's a family camp, but there's a lot of really great camps for kids with disabilities. And some of them are only day camps.
Hmm.
Some of them are overnight camps. Some of them are week camps. I mean, some camps even go for the majority of the summer. So there are different options in different areas, but camps are great.
Yes. Oksana has a camp that's pretty specifically for pretty involved kids, you know. I don't even think Anya would qualify to go there. And they have to be older because the thing is, the older your kids get, the less, you know, of those little YMCA camps and stuff that
Yes.
are available. So you have to be middle school. But they do it all summer long, and then you choose when you want to go. And so you can do 1 week and nothing else, or you can do 3 days a week, or you can do week 1 and week 5 and week 10. They don't care. You just give them your schedule at the beginning of the year, and you pay per day.
Mhm.
So we're doing July and like the last weekend or the first week of August, about Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's really
Mhm.
a great break.
Yes. And one thing about camps is that sometimes state waivers do
Hmm.
pay for camp options. Not always, but oftentimes they do. So, for example, our waiver, the waiver that both my girls with disabilities qualify for, currently we live in Wisconsin. So that waiver is actually paying their way for the family camp we're about to go to. And some waivers also pay for respite. They might pay for overnight
Hmm.
respite and overnight respite facilities. So if your child has a waiver, talk to your social worker or your caseworker
Hmm.
about respite and camp options through the waiver, because a lot of waivers really do cover those things.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, so now the other thing is which are not, it's not summer school, but like a dance camp or a horse riding camp, you know, like those little classes that you can take that maybe it's just 1 week that it's offered during the summer and that's it,
Hmm.
but it's something to look forward to. So something that we wanted to do, or my daughter with cerebral palsy wanted to do, was go to a wheelchair basketball camp.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
And you're moving.
And we're moving.
So much for
So
wheelchair basketball camp.
yes, and it's a week, and the kids can choose if they want to stay overnight or if they want to go home and just go during the day. So there's
Oh,
both options, because some kids are very comfortable spending the night away from their
right.
parents and some kids are not. Some parents are not.
I love that they gave him the option.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, originally she had, so when we started talking about this, she had said that she wanted to come home. And at the end she was saying, actually, maybe I would like to stay because there's going to be kids like me and more time that I get to be around other kids who are
Right.
like me. Um, but that's obviously not going to happen. But, you know, I've been looking into like dance classes, usually have like summer dance classes and horseback riding classes. And sometimes there's like the pottery classes, or art centers have something like little classes. So it's not like an all day. So it might be something that you only go to once a week.
And I don't know if this is everywhere, but our Parks and Rec has a whole department devoted to um, including children with special needs into all of the programs that they have. And they provide a one-on-one, they provide what's needed for the child during the camp. So Oksana did a Parks and Rec camp a couple of years ago, and they provided a one-on-one for her. And she went with all the other kids, all the typical kids. And they do that with swim and all kinds of things. So that's something to keep in
Oh,
mind too.
see, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So
They
Parks
actually
and
have a
Rec.
woman, and that's her job. She's the person you call. She finds out what your child will need, and she makes it happen.
So there you
So,
go.
yeah.
So maybe we all need to be looking at our Parks and Rec and what they offer for our kids
Right.
for inclusion. Now, a big thing for a lot of kids, I know for my kids, is having a routine. So the more we can keep a routine, the better. I know we were talking about this before, Erin, almost doing like a homeschooling during the summer.
So about 3 years ago, I had a very firm schedule laid out for the day. Wake up time, we do this, we do this, we do this. We had time for school. And basically it wasn't anything intensive. It was just keeping up the skills that they had. We had once a week, we went on a field trip. Once a week, we did a cooking activity. We had time for swimming. We had time for free play. And I really need to get back to that. Everything went downhill with Oksana after that. And our lives have never been the same since. And I haven't been able to pull that back together. I haven't had the energy
Yeah.
to pull that back together. This year might be a year I could start to think about that again. Of course, now we're almost 2 weeks into summer, but hey, better late than never.
My kids are still in school.
I know, but we'll be going back to school when you're at the end of summer.
That's true. That's true. I always have great intentions to be very organized, productive, and to make it count for something. So I have great intentions, but the follow through, honestly, is the hard part for me.
Yeah.
So sometimes I start really well. We do a week, 2, and then 3, 4, and then towards the end of the summer, it's like, forget it. It didn't happen.
Well, and you and I are both working from home right now, which is such a challenge in the summer. I have found just getting my work hours in with the girls home is consuming all of my energy, figuring out when I'm going to make it happen and doing the things we need to do in between. And it's challenging summer. This is the first year, year that I've been home working. So by the time I get it all figured out, they'll be going back to school.
Right. But my full-time job with the Mighty starts in July.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm going to be able to do a full-time job from home with my kids during the summer.
It'll make me appreciate the school year more than ever.
Yes. Well, my husband, thankfully, is able to help a lot. And then we're going to be close to family because we're moving, and having my sister and my mom come and hang out with my kids. So maybe that's a way that you can survive the summer. Send your kids to grandma's house. If grandma will have them. That's my plan.
I know. My mom's listening to this going, Ellen, be quiet.
Yeah. But we tried to move close to you guys. And your mom was in my list of who was going to help with my kids. So
no, my mom would do it.
Having a routine. I have a friend who every summer they do no screens. And for a lot of people, that sounds like, oh my goodness, how can they possibly do no screens? Because we would go crazy with no screens. But it actually makes a really enjoyable summer for them. And, she has kids with disabilities, and she says her kids end up playing more. They have, imagination games. There's more talking, and she has a child who struggles with speech. And actually having that time with the siblings is really great. And they go and they actually play outside, and they do a lot of stuff. So even for the adults, it's no TV. I actually think that they put it away, I don't know, in their closet in the basement, but then TV is put away, and they limit any other screen time. So iPads or iPhones or whatever they have, it's not allowed, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
And she's encouraged me to do it for years, and I haven't done it.
Well, that's easy for me because Oksana doesn't really like TV. And
Hmm.
all Anya likes is YouTube Kids.
Oh, I don't like YouTube
Watch.
Kids.
She can watch all her obnoxious little videos. So
I
we
know.
just give her a set time to do that. But
Yes, we
yeah.
do the YouTube Kids too, and I can't stand it.
Is it
Tutorials.
only my kids who find the most obnoxious videos
Yeah.
to
Mm-mm.
watch over and over and
No,
over?
no. Nicole watches tutorials, makeup
Yes,
tutorials for
Anya
kids.
too.
And then
Yes.
every morning she asks me to do her makeup. And I can't talk because she's pretending to do
Her
so
tutorial.
her tutorial. So she'll
Mhm.
ask me and she will ask me, what's it called? And I'll say, bare minerals. And she goes, and this is bare minerals. And she does that thing with the hand and I'm gonna do it with the brush. And then she gives it to me to put makeup on her. So
Okay, so just today I had this brilliant idea. Anya loves these little makeup tutorials. So what if I got her a cheap little thing of blush? She's got her little brush and she can play. Okay. So first of all, she takes the brush and goes like this and goes, now where did she see that? Right.
uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay, go, have fun with your little makeup there. I come back a little while later and she is completely glowing pink from all of the blush that she put all over her face. That was
Yeah.
trash.
That's
I'm
Nicole
glad it
when
was
she
cheap.
does. When she does makeup. She likes to do makeup for me and her sisters too. So that's what kids learn from YouTube Kids. So the moral of the story is don't let your kids watch YouTube Kids videos all summer long because
Exactly.
you're gonna deal with that. Um, I don't think that there's one way to say that people can survive the summer. I
Good
mean,
point.
realistically, every family is different and there's different dynamics. And if there's any medical crisis, whatever plan you have, it's going to go
Out
out the
the
window.
window. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the best way to survive the summer is to really try to establish as many supports as you can for your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean supports through other people. So if you have family around, if you have respite providers, if you have babysitters, if you have people from church, if you can build in those supports so that you can have a regular respite or in case of a crisis so that people are ready, that's probably one of the best things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Which also falls to some degree under self-care because
Yes.
even if it's not a crisis, it would be good to just have some time to breathe.
Hmm. And here's the thing about self-care. It's a good idea to schedule it or it's not going to happen.
No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you how I know that because Oksana's at a camp all week this week. And I said, this is the week that I'm going to go do my second, it's going to come to me, float.
Oh
The
yeah. Yeah, the salt that
sensory
you float
deprivation tanks.
like in the salt water.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I have what is this, Tuesday? So I have 2 more days to make that happen before she comes home. And I don't know that it's going to happen.
Because you did not schedule it.
I didn't schedule it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reality of
It
self-care. You
is.
have to schedule it. And, I was teaching Zumba, and
Yeah.
that would make me go and exercise and do something. And that was my self-care. Well, when I started working for the Mighty, when I looked at hours, I couldn't do both. So I stopped teaching Zumba. Well, I haven't been back since
Yeah.
because I'm not scheduling it.
No.
I have not made it a priority. So the reality for summer, especially when I have my kids around all the time,
Yes.
and I am someone who can get drained from being needed all the time by my kids. That's just me. I need to plan something for me so that I can be energized. Again, it's the self-care.
Mhm.
So I have found out that if I don't actually schedule it, if it's not written down, and I find a babysitter if it's necessary, or talk to my husband to see if he's going to be available, or whatever it is, it's just not going to
It
happen.
won't happen.
Hmm. And with summer, especially, I think we're outside sometimes a little bit more, doing even more activities with our kids because we have kids with us
Right.
all the time. We have even less time for ourselves. Because when the kids are in school, if you're a stay-at-home mom, even if you spend all day fighting with insurance, let's say, you still at least have a little bit of that break. not necessarily that it's life-giving, because both you and I know that your
Right.
kids can be in school and you can be home and you still have laundry and dishes and all the things that are a full-time job. But sometimes having that break from actually being with your kids is good. And then the summer comes and there's no break whatsoever.
Mhm.
And you're still having to do all of that, plus entertain the kids, make sure they're safe, and all that it entails to be a parent, right? And to
Yeah.
be a mom. So
Yeah.
I think that's when self-care is so important, or, to actually make it a priority. And even if it's making time to read a book, are you actually going to make time to read a book?
I know. I was just thinking about that the other day. Did you see on Facebook I posted that list of books?
Yeah, I
And
saw it, and I've read two of those.
the
I'm like,
reality is I'm not going to read any of them. Now, I did go on Hoopla and see if any of them are audiobooks because I can do that while I'm doing other things. But I'm not going to sit and read a book.
mm-hmm. I did just read a book, actually, and I read it in 2 days, 3 days. I stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday to finish it.
Was it that good?
It was really that good.
Okay.
Yes. Um, it was not a Christian book, but it was fiction. Leanne Moriarty, Big Little Lies, for anybody who wants to know.
Oh,
But it
she
was
was on that
good.
list. That
Yeah, she was. What Alice Forgot was the
okay.
book in that list, and that was the first one of hers that I read, and I thought, oh, I like this author. So I do. I like her a lot. But anyway, reading for me is great. So I read so that I can escape to another life, I guess you can
Yes.
say, for a little while. But I have to make time for it. And quite honestly, sometimes for me, what helps a lot is to watch a show. And we've talked about watching shows on Netflix, and it has to be a comedy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't
Because
mind it. I don't care if it's a comedy or not, but I like to get lost in a story.
yes, and
Mhm.
it's just easy just to sit there and not worry about it. And let me just say something, that it's not really about summer or self-care, but as much as I love social media and it helps me be connected, it also sucks a lot of life for me.
Mm.
And it ends up being a huge waste of my time sometimes. When
Mhm.
I'm looking at pictures, your pictures, as much as I love you and your family, I don't need to look at pictures of your family for 20 minutes when I
Oh,
have so
come
many
on,
other things
Ellen.
to do, especially if I've already seen them like 50 other times.
Right.
Well, you know what I
I
mean?
know
Like,
exactly
I
what you
think,
mean.
especially if for some reason I end up looking at pictures of people that I don't even know. And then I think, how did I even land here? Who is this person? And maybe I'm the only one who ends
No,
up
you're
doing that.
not.
But
You're not.
um, and I thought to myself before, just like I limit social media for my kids, and I have preteens, so it's musically and stuff like that. I need to live sometimes with that mindset that if I'm going to be on social media, I should limit my time, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be exhausted and feel like I
Right.
didn't get enough accomplished because I was just going through somebody's pictures or
Yeah.
reading statuses of people that I don't really get to see every day. So who cares? So that's just a little thought about social media during the summer. Don't let social media consume your time.
I'm going to throw another thought in that's a little bit back to like things to do that just came to my mind. A couple of years ago, we, on a whim, decided to make the investment of an above ground, just one of those
Oh,
pools
yeah.
that's big enough that
Hmm.
you need a filter, but it tears down at the end of the summer. It's not permanent or anything, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
They have
yeah. You have a nice
um,
pool. Hmm.
absolute lifesaver. I cannot take two kids with disabilities, one who's physically disabled, to a pool by myself.
Yep.
And so we were never going to the pool, and my girls love to swim. And now we can swim every single day. And it's an investment. It's a couple $100, that we were absolutely willing to make. And it has saved my summers.
And why you say that, I know of a lot of families who have done that, and we did that as well for the same reason. For me to take all my kids to a pool by myself, I can't,
No,
because two of my kids need me with them all the time,
exactly.
and I can't split myself into two. And one runs really fast, and one struggles, you know, to walk. So that's where yes, having a pool is a great thing. Other things that they enjoy, it could be a trampoline. It could be, if you
Yes.
can create, if your home can be the place where you can go and have the fun,
Yes.
when you're home, and we've all been in that situation and everybody's crying and maybe they're hungry, and sure, you can put something in the Instant Pot, but it's still going to take time. And you're like, what are we going to do? Let's go, jump on the trampoline. Let's go swimming, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. It's been a lifesaver for us.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. So I guess the next thing we can do is just really kind of wish everybody good luck. Good luck this summer.
We'll be praying for you.
We will be praying.
You'll be praying for us.
Yes, yes. So I know that this kind of ended up being a little mini episode. Don't forget the freebie. Don't forget that I do have that list of camps. Lots of states. I know it's not comprehensive because there's a lot of camps that are definitely not included, but hopefully it's a starter. So ellenstumbo.com/episode 28. That's the number, bright orange button. It's going to be right there.
And then I guess we'll see you in September.
We're going to start season 2, and we do have a couple of things planned and scheduled. We are going to have Tony and Tara join us again because people asked for them to come back and actually talk about physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
We had an episode with them about how and when to talk to kids about disabilities, and they both have cerebral palsy, and hearing from disabled adults, I think it's really important. And they briefly mentioned something about physical therapy, and we've gotten a lot of comments saying, can they come back and just talk about that piece?
Yes.
So they're coming back to talk about that piece. We're going to talk about, again, we're going to have a guest, an adult with a disability, about how to help our kids accept their disability.
Mm-hmm.
And a second part to that is going to be, as parents, how do we accept our children's disability? And I'm waiting to actually connect with a lawyer and someone that really knows really well about guardianship. So anybody of you who are listening, if you actually have a great contact for us to have as a guest on guardianship, that would be great to have that. So those are 4 that we're for sure planning on having, and we love your ideas. We've gotten some great ideas. We've actually had some people say, hey, I would love to come and join your podcast, as we did last time with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fascinating. I mean, I learned a lot from that podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a lot of really great stuff. If you want to keep up with us, and because we're not going to be doing podcast on Facebook, well, Erin doesn't have a page, but I do, Ellen Stumbo. And when we're at camp, I'm going to make Erin do Facebook Live videos with me.
Oh, goody. This is news to me.
It is news to her. But hopefully, we can be connected. So if you just type Ellen Stumble, you're going to find the page, and maybe we can be connected that way. And then any news about Unexceptional Moms will be there. So
sounds good. See you in September. Happy summer.
Happy summer, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.